Hey guys, we are working with circles today, area, circumference, radius, diameter, all of those fun things. So a couple things we just need to know. Circumference is the measure around a circle, like if you were putting a fence around it. Diameter goes from one edge to a circle to the other, goes through the center. The radius is half that. It goes from the center to the edge, okay? Now, we use pi a lot when we're talking circles. If you are wondering more about what pi is, I'll link a video for you in the corner. But for now, just know it's a relationship that happens in all circles, or a proportion. And because it happens in all circles, we're able to use it to help us find things like the circumference and area. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at our first problem here. A circle has an area of 16.53 square inches. What is the circle's radius? We're going to round to the nearest hundredth. Okay, so I was given the area and I want to know what the radius is. So we are going to use our area equation here. So I know the area is 16.53, and that is equal to pi times the radius squared. The radius is what we're looking for, so we like that that's our unknown now. So my whole goal now is to get r alone. So I'm going to divide both sides by pi. So those cancel, and I am left with 16.53 divided by pi. Now, calculators have a pi button. Your teacher will probably tell you if they want you to use the pi button, or sometimes they'll just say use 3.14 as pi. It goes on longer than that, but we have to round at some point. So do whatever your teacher wants you to do there. So when I divide that, I end up with 5.26166. It keeps going. So I'm going to round it to 5.26. And that is equal to r squared. Now, we might be tempted to be like, oh, r's alone, happy day. But we don't want that squared there. How do we get rid of squareds? Well, we take the square root. Okay, so I end up with taking the square root of 5.26, 2.29346. It keeps going. This asks me to round to the nearest hundredth. So that's 2 points after, or 2 numbers after the decimal place. If you need a reminder on rounding decimals, I'll link a video in the corner. But this is going to round to 2.29. And remember, we are in inches, not square inches anymore, because this is my radius. That is equal to my radius. Okay, look at that. Okay, next one. A circle has an area of 28.12 square centimeters. What is the circle's diameter? Okay, so remember, radius that we just found, that's from the center to the edge. Diameter is all the way across. Okay, so what we're going to do is do just what we did here. Find the radius, and then guess what? Multiply it by 2. That's our diameter. Okay, so I know that my area is equal to pi r squared. So my area is 28.12. That is equal to pi times my radius squared. Okay, just like over here, we are going to divide pi off and end up with 28.12 divided by pi. And I get 8.9508. I'm going to round that to 8.95 equals r squared. Then we're going to take the square root of both sides. So I end up with the square root of 8.95 equals 2.9916. I'm going to round it to 2.99 equals r, or my radius. But remember, we don't want our radius this time. We want our diameter, which is just 2 times that. So 2.99, you could probably do this in your head. 2.99 times 2 gives me 5.98. We are in centimeters, and that is my diameter. Yay! Okay, there we go. All right, last one. we are given the area and we want to know the circumference. Okay. They're like, okay, we found the radius, we found the diameter. How do we find the circumference? Well, guess what? If we find the radius or the diameter, we can find the circumference. Okay. So let's find the radius and then we plug the radius in here to get the circumference. We don't even mind that it's like an extra step because we love math. Okay. So I'm going to find my radius first. My area is 66.25 equals pi r squared. This is just what we did before, right? Divide off pi. And I end up with 66.25 divided by pi gives me 21.088. So I'm going to round that to 21.09. Equals my radius squared. So then we got to take the square root of both sides. So when I take the square root of 21.09, I get 4.592. So I'm going to round that to 4.59 equals my radius. Okay, that's my radius, but we want the circumference. So I can use the radius to find the circumference. The circumference is either pi times the diameter or 2 times the radius times pi, which is the same thing, right? So I'm going to say my circumference is equal to 2 times pi times my radius that I just found, 4.59. Okay, now I just get to plug all this into my calculator and it asks me to round to the nearest hundredth. So 2 times pi times 4.59 gives me 28.839. So I'm going to round it to 84. We are in feet. And that is my circumference. Okay, one thing just to pay attention to is sometimes your teacher might tell you to use the pi button on your calculator, or sometimes they might just say use 3.14 as pi, okay? Different teachers will probably have different preferences. So just do whatever they say and round it accordingly. All right, I hope this helped. If you need some more examples or if you are more curious about what pi is, where it comes from, I will link some videos for you. Thanks.